On this episode of Average Aussies Exploring, we will show you the first part of our Victorian road trip, starting in Canberra to the Great Ocean Road and into Melbourne.
Here we are at the Dog and the Tucker Box rest stop and information centre on the Hume Highway at Gundagai. It's a nice spot for some lunch and check out some of the local history and have a stroll through the visitor centre. There's lots of local arts and crafts and some local area alcoholic products which look pretty good. There's some very creative locals doing some cool stuff around here, so it's definitely worth a look and get a picture with the Dog and the Tucker Box and the fountain. Here we are at the HMAS Otway Memorial in Holbrook in New South Wales. It was put here in honour of Lieutenant Norman Douglas Holbrook, who was from the area and was a World War II submarine captain. He also was a recipient of the Victorian Cross, the highest honour in the military. After the submarine was decommissioned in 1995, the Navy gifted the fin of the submarine to the town for the museum. The town then unsuccessfully fundraised to purchase the whole submarine. And then through negotiations with the scrapyard in Sydney, they were able to purchase the Otway's outer skin and build the memorial as it sits there today. It's a pretty cool piece of Australian military history and shows military and community ties in the area. Quick stop off at the Edinburgh pub just outside of Albury. It's getting a bit old and run down at the moment now, but there's still some pretty cool stuff here. kids enjoyed looking around at all the old displays, and the old pub itself wasn't actually open the day that we got there, but still good to look around. There's also camping available here. You just got to buy a meal at the pub to support it. So for our first night, we've stopped in Albury. We didn't do too much out and about. We'll come back and do Albury another time. But we stayed at the Albury Showground. It was just under $30 a night. We had power, water, clean amenities, and it was pretty quiet. So definitely recommend it here. Alright, today we pretty much spent it in the car from Albury straight down to Warrnambool, so we could crack into the Great Ocean Road tomorrow. We stayed at the NRMA of Warrnambool, which was a really well set up holiday park, which you'd expect from an NRMA park. Great staff, there's a couple of pools and good areas for the kids. They even had some live music on the day that we got there, so that was pretty cool as well. Good spot for a chill out after a big day in the car, and definitely recommend it here.
The Flagstaff Hill experience in Warrnambool Information Centre and Museum was incredible. It cost the five of us $50 entry, which we were a bit apprehensive about because we didn't know what we were going to get for the money. But it was an amazing experience. So much history and lots to see and do. The kids had a blast seeing everything and learning about the area. It depicts the stories of hundreds of ships, their crewmen and passengers whose lives were claimed by the shipwrecked coast in the 19th century. These stories have been passed down by the lucky ones who survived the journey to start a new life in a foreign land. These stories continue to be shared and experienced by all visitors to the museum and village. Entering the museum, there are heaps of recovered artefacts from discoveries by explorers along the shipwrecked coast. Everything from bells, anchors, maps, pictures, clothing, furniture, medical equipment, sextants. There were examples of ships' cargoes ranging from lead ingots to bottles of champagne. The cobblestone pavements throughout the village allowed the stories to really come to life. Without the modern day comforts, the village shows how those who lived in the area and on board the ships had to live in challenging and tough conditions. There are many depictions of the resources and communications, boat building, shipping, services, fishing, and rescue that were relied upon in daily life. Flagstaff Hill is a place to remember and experience the stories of these early battlers who laid the foundations for life as we know it today. There are so many things to see in the village. There is a church, a school classroom, post office, fire station, lighthouse that you can climb, a seamstress, farmland, a whale experience, and a sweets shop and cafe. Flagstaff Hill Village also houses the first bank in Victoria. We also discovered that they offer events and light shows at the village. The Rocket House shed shows the early rescue equipment that was used along the coast to rescue stricken sailors from ships that had run aground. The rocket would fire a rope to the ship, which would be secured to allow sailors to be rescued and moved to the safety of the shore. The rockets could fire over 500 yards with a canvas bag for the sailors to climb into to be dragged ashore. This place was definitely worth the money and time. We just wish we had more time to do it slower. Next time.
Great Ocean Road Day. Definitely a place that we've wanted to go for a long time. Our first stop is the Bay of Islands. Pictures and videos and everything else that we've seen definitely do not do this place justice. It's a really strong illustration of what Mother Nature has done to the coastline. Beautiful is not a strong enough word for the area here. Next up, we hit the Grotto. Lots of similar places and similar named places around the world, but this place is pretty cool. Giant hole that's been carved through the rocks by Mother Nature over the years. The authorities around here have done a pretty good job of making the area nice and safe with good walking tracks and stairways and that sort of stuff. Would have been awesome to see some water spray coming through, but it wasn't rough enough out on the coastline for that today. Still pretty cool. Next up for us is the London Bridge, and wowza, it's amazing. The power of the water to form this landmark is an absolute wonder. In the early 1990s, the London Bridge took on its current form and shape after the final section fell away from the mainland. This place definitely does not get the accolades that it deserves. It's an absolutely stunning place, and I could stand there for hours just watching the water slam through it. But on to the next. Alright, 12 Apostles. Great setup here. There's heaps of safe walking routes, heaps of parking, lots of viewing areas, so that was awesome. They're also undertaking some construction, so they're building a new visitor experience centre, so that will be cool in the years to come. In the words of our 12-year-old Lachlan, this place is amazing and so cool. So I think that just about sums up this part of the coastline, and he's certainly right. We'll definitely be putting the Great Ocean Road on our list of places to come back to. We did run ourselves out of time. Heaps of great scenery and great places to stop, and it's just somewhere we didn't and haven't allowed enough time for this trip. So we're rounding out our trip along the Great Ocean Road in Bells Beach and Torquay the next day. I grew up at the beach, loving surfing in the ocean, so to go to such an iconic surfing location in Australia was pretty cool. And of course, no trip to this area is complete or did it really happen if you don't get a picture with one of the most iconic tourism signs in Australia. So that rounds out part one of our Victorian road trip. So far, it's been an awesome adventure. So many highlights. The kids are bouncing around and excited everywhere we go. So we seem to be winning there. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to catch part two of this awesome adventure. And until then, we'll catch you later.